Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff MacLeod, your host, here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Today, I am going to share my review of the Battlezoo Bestiary, Strange and Unusual, from Roll for Combat. Now, this 228-page hardcover is available now with PDF, carries an MSRP of $50. You can grab just the PDF alone for $29. Do want to point out this contains over 150 creatures, and they are all drawn from the RPG Superstars contest from 2021. All right, all that said, let's jump on over to the other camera, because here I've got the Battlezoo Bestiary, Strange and Unusual. Couple of things I want to mention before we jump on in. First of all, my friends over at Roll for Combat were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this review with you. These days, it's important you know that. We're also not going to look at each and every page, but I do want to give you a really good feel for what you're going to find inside Strange and Unusual. All right, so let's dive on in. One of the first things I want to mention, I love the gatefold here. It's on the back cover as well. This just has this old school Renaissance vibe to it, which, even though this is not in any way, shape, or form an OSR book, I just love this artwork. It's very nostalgic for me. I thought that was very cool. All right, do want to make sure we give loads of people credit here. In fact, I'm going to move this over because we have all of these different authors. We've got all of these different artists who brought this book to fruition. So all of these entries, all of these creatures in here have all been award-winning RPG Superstars submissions of varying degrees, from copper to the grand prize winners. So do want to make sure that we share some credit here for all of the folks who were involved with this book. As I mentioned, there are over 150 different creatures that are included in Strange and Unusual. And I will tell you, there is truth in advertising here, because some of these monsters are absolutely bonkers. I'm not kidding. There are some that are just super weird, super odd. I'll be very honest, some of these would not make it to my game table for a fantasy role-playing game. But there are other people out there who are like looking for stuff that's just absolutely batshit gonzo. Well, I'll tell you what, you're going to find some of them in here. Now, having said that, there are also loads of monsters in here that are really cool. And a good giveaway of, at least that I found when I read through this, is the higher level award winners tended to be, at least to me, pretty damn cool. And some of them were really outstanding. Some of, say, the Copper Award winners, kind of a mixed bag. I mean, there were some cool ones, don't get me wrong, but there were some that were just not going to make it to my game table. Speaking of just bizarre monsters, there is one here. It's the Extra Toe. Here we go. I don't know. So it's a parasite that actually burrows into someone's flesh, and it looks like a fully grown extra toe. As you can see from the artwork, there's the toenail. But strangely enough, what I find really weird about this is the host may not even notice that it's not a real toe. And I thought to myself, well, wait a second, this thing's burrowing into your foot. It's like living off your blood. And it's also depositing eggs, which are going to hatch into more of these extra toes. I don't know. I think the host would notice that. Just me here thinking that it's super bizarre and kind of gross too. But I guarantee there are people out there who are like, oh man, that's awesome. I would love introducing that into my game. Now, we are taking a look at the Pathfinder edition of Strange and Unusual, and this is available in 2 flavors. It is available for 5e D&D as well as Pathfinder 2nd edition. Should point out, this is not for the remastered Pathfinder, simply because this came out before the remastered Pathfinder volumes. Now, keeping in mind, there aren't huge changes to remastered, especially when it comes to the stat blocks for various different creatures and monsters. But you will notice that we do still have alignment here for the various different entries, which of course alignment has gone the way of the dodo as far as Pathfinder Remastered. But I'll be very honest, and I have my review of the Monster Core coming up in just a couple of days. I miss the alignment. The reason why is when you're taking a look through a bestiary, and Strange and Unusual is a great example of that, you might be, as a game master, kind of thinking, hey, you know what? I'm looking for something to slide into an encounter here that's going to be unique, but I am looking for something that's going to be more along the lines of a lawful evil creature. And yes, I get it. Alignment has been done away with because it's a little too black and white. There are no real shades of gray unless something is neutral. But it also does force the game master to actually have to read through the entire entry for the different monsters in the Monster Core in order to find out, oh, yeah, okay, so these tend to be good creatures. Well, okay, well, I'm not going to use that. Here, that is not the case. So at a quick glance, I can see here, okay, so the Thunderhead Willow, it's chaotic neutral. Okay, interesting. And then go from there. I will say some of they tend to be the Copper Award winners, do sort of feel to be mashups of 2 creatures in one. Not all of them, but there are a few that are sort of, okay. Not so with the gold and platinum and grand prize winners. But all in all, it is a really solid mix of strange and unusual creatures and monsters to include in your Pathfinder 2nd edition games. I really do like how we still have the monster parts, the monster crafting. And the reason why I mention that, and I have heard from some people kind of whinging a bit that, oh, I see we've got page space devoted to the monster parts. Again, it's popped up in a few different of the Battlezoo books. I like the fact that it does show up in these bestiaries from Roll for Combat, because it means you don't have to go and purchase another book in order to utilize the monster parts and the crafting rules that go with it. We do have a new archetype that's included in Strange and Unusual, and then we also have some very useful appendices in here as well, as you can see. Production quality, really, really nicely done. As we've found with the Roll for Combat books, nice, thick paper stock, really well bound. So these should hold up at your game table really nicely. This is certainly no exception to that. And the artwork throughout is fantastic. I also like the fact that even though there are a huge variety of different artists who worked on this book, you'll notice here the artwork does have a pretty solid uniformity to it. So you're not taking a look through and you're like, oh, wow, I really like that artwork. And then suddenly it's like, what in the world is that? How did that make its way into the book? Not at all. Really, really well done all throughout. So just wanted to give you a peek inside. As you can see, this is really, really well presented. And kudos once again to Roll for Combat, because I've been impressed by the books I've had an opportunity to take a peek from them. All right, so that is a look inside Battlezoo Bestiary, Strange and Unusual. Let's swing on over to the other camera. I'm going to share some final thoughts and give this a review score. So as far as this bestiary goes, it's sort of a mixed bag. As I mentioned, there are some creatures and monsters in Strange and Unusual that would absolutely just not make their way to my game table. They just didn't get my creative juices flowing. Just reading through, I was kind of like, But there are also quite a lot of entries that I thought are really, really interesting and would certainly be used at my game table for a game of Pathfinder. And as I mentioned, you can kind of sort through the ones that are really going to jump out at you by way of what level award they won in the RPG Superstars. Now, that's not to say that all of the copper and silver level are ho-hum, not at all. But for the most part, the entries that really stand out and catch your attention are going to be the gold, the platinum, and of course, the grand prize winners. All in all, I think Battlezoo Bestiary, Strange and Unusual, is really well put together. Love the artwork throughout. Yes, granted, it's a little bit of a mixed bag, but it is far, far more hit than miss as far as the creature entries in the bestiary too. So on a scale of 0 to 10, I give Battlezoo Bestiary, Strange and Unusual an 8.5 out of 10. Really like it, and I could certainly see utilizing many of these entries in a Pathfinder game. Really do recommend picking up Strange and Unusual if you run Pathfinder, or once again, there is the 5e D&D flavored book as well, so you have your choice there. All right, that is it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell, because it'll not only let you know when I share videos such as this review, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are not going to find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, I'm Jeff MacLeod, and until I see you next time, I certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.